Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. What's up? How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday today. Me and my son just got home. We went to the arcade and played games, and we went to Walmart and got some fingerboards, which are these little skateboards that he like skates with his fingers. And I just built 3 of them and put the wheels on them and put stickers on them and put. It was just fun. Thanks, Cindy. Yes, baby, you can. So now all what I'm doing is I'm sitting down and I am just going through my YouTube stuff on my computer because I like to go through and answer you guys' like questions or respond to you guys if you message me. Hey Faith, what's up, girl? Oh, you guys, me and Faith are going to do a video together. We haven't decided what we're going to do. Aren't we, Faith? You said you were cool with that, right? But we haven't decided what we're going to do the video about, but we are going to do a video collaboration together. And Faith and I think we have like a lot of the same subscribers, but I also think we have a lot of different subscribers. So I'm thinking like, you know, we're about right at, she has about 500 more subscribers than I do, but I think that we have like, I was looking at my analytics, Faith, and do you know that 75% of the people that watch my channel, okay, girl, I've had gonorrhea before. I can tell y'all some stories about some STDs back in my day, honey. Let me just tell you, I was not wearing protection, and it was a fucking crazy time. Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna make me tell a story time right now, aren't y'all? Damn it, it just brought it into my mind too. Okay. I am so grateful to be sober, you guys, 4 years today. I'm so grateful. Just let me start out by saying that. Like, I just got on the phone with my mom and my dad, and I never in a million years thought that I would ever not be able to do drugs. I never thought that I was going to be able to stop. I never thought that I was going to be able to stop shooting up, you guys. Like, seriously. I thought I was going to shoot up for the rest of my life. I had completely became okay with, you know, dying. I thought, you know, I'm going to die of an overdose, and that's just what it is. And then my son was born, and that changed everything for me. So this is the new Huda Beauty Foundation, and I'll tell you something. That shit smells like so good. It's very scented. So if you have sensitive skin, you probably wouldn't like it because it might irritate your skin. But it's good. Like, it's really hot here, you guys. And I put it on. And let me tell you how I prepped my skin with a beauty oil and some moisturizer. And so it's not like, girl, what is on my eyes? You like that, don't you? That's beautiful, isn't it? Well, what's on my eyes is the green color from the Natasha Denona mini tropical palette, which my friend Cindy sent me. Shout out to my friend Cindy. Love you, Cindy. And I used it today, girl, the minute I got it. And it's like that emerald green color is all over my lid. And then my son told me I looked like a clown, so I went and got this duochrome eyeshadow that I have from Davina Cosmetics, and I put it over the top of it. And oh my gosh, you guys, like that duochrome sparkly shadow just made it like look so good. So I was like, okay, now we're in business. Because it was just like and I think the reason I looked kind of clownish. He's so honest. I love it. You know, kids are just they're so real. I had on this like really dark, bright pink lipstick that was, what it is it's a stain by Bite Beauty. And I was putting it on my lips because what it does is when I take it off, it leaves a stain, and I love it. And so I can just see my son was looking at me, and I had on like emerald green eyeshadow and hot pink lips. So it's like, Mom, you look like a clown. He goes, if you had those things on your cheeks, you would look like a clown. No, but I told him about it. So anyway, but that's my makeup is just kind of like sweated off a little bit. But that shiny eyeshadow is from Davina, It's her multi-chrome shadows that she came out with. Like, I think they're sold out right now, but girl, they're so freaking good. Like, if you guys don't, I see all these like cosmetic companies like charging an arm and a leg for multi-chrome shadows, and like $20 a shadow. Davina Cosmetics only charges $8, I think 8 or 10, and hers are bomb. I'll show you them real fast. Let me go in here, my bathroom, and show you guys. Yeah, buddy.
I need to go poo-poo.
Well, do your thing. Okay. Hey, thanks, Courtney. I appreciate that, girl. Okay. And I hadn't bought the foundation yet, that Huda Beauty foundation. I got a sample of it.
Mom, come with me to go poo-poo.
Okay, I'll be right down there. Nate, go ahead. Nate, you can go poo-poo. You don't need me. Let go. Let go. Go. I'll be right there to wipe your butt. Y'all, I have to make sure that he wipes his butt all the way, because if he doesn't, y'all know how it is. If you have toddlers, you know how it is. Sometimes they struggle getting back there all the way. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, this is the color that I put on top of that palette. It's called Celesta by Davina Cosmetics. Look at it, you guys. And I'm telling you something, like, I'm going to put a little bit more on there. It's like a duochrome olive green, but it's on top of this really pretty, this emerald green right here. See that emerald green right there? I put this on top of that, and it just made my my eyelids look like a Christmas tree party or something. Hey, right, Nate?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I touch one?
Touch one what? Oh, don't dig your finger, gentle. You can swatch it. Just do it gentle. Here, you want to do it? Here. Real gentle. There you go. Now look at that pretty swatch. Isn't that pretty?
It looks like golden.
It looks like golden. It does. My son helps me swatch makeup when we go in the store. Don't you, buddy? The other day we were looking in Sephora, and he goes, "Mom, why aren't you touching them? You know." I said, "You swatching them?" He goes, "Yeah, you always do that. Why aren't you swatching them?"
No, I didn't say that.
Why you got to lie? Don't.
Hold on.
Not right here.
I need to wash.
Here, I will just give me your little dirty paws. There you go.
It's still on.
Nate, go take a dump. Hey, Tim, what are you doing?
Come with me to come take.
Oh, Nate's very good. He helps me pick out the eyeshadows, you guys. So anyway, I'm going to use this Natasha Denona, and I want to put this really dark blue underneath my lash line. So, okay, what shade in the Huda Beauty? Okay, now let me tell you, this is the shades. The shade I used is Amaretti, M-A-R-E-T-T-I, Amaretti, 310G. So I'm supposing that's like 310 golden, maybe. I didn't think I was going to like it, you guys, because I've heard people say that it's like super matte. But I'm here to tell you that I used literally, listen to this, you guys. I used one dot right here, one dot right here, one dot right here, and it covered my whole face. That's how...
What's your face? Are you talking about...
That's what I'm talking about. My big face, boy. It covered my big face. I know what you're going to say.
No, I'm going to say your chubby face.
My chubby face. Yes, baby.
Why is it...
You ain't got to tell it like it is. I already know.
Why is it so chubby?
Baby, it's chubby because your mom likes to eat. That's why.
Then how is your...
But it's chubby because your mommy doesn't eat healthy. Remember? We talked about this. You eat healthy, and you do so good on eating healthy, son, and that's why you stay in shape. So mommy's got to work on eating healthy too.
Eat a bunch of carrots.
Carrots, that's what I gotta do.
1,180, 60,000.
Like that Natasha Denona palette, like I'm not normally like a blue or green person, but it is so pretty, you guys. Thanks, Dr. B. What are you doing? Hey, Dr. B. Y'all, Dr. B is going to be on the channel next Friday. I'm going to make a reminder for it so you guys will know. He'll be on here at the same time we were last time, about 7:20 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think it's like 5:20 your time. And I'm Dr. B. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mom. It's this foundation. It's called the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. I literally used one dot on each side of my face. Hey, Heather. Thanks, girl. Yep, Dr. B's in the chat. Hey, Dr. B. Gina DeMeo is my mom. Hey, Mom. Say hi to Dr. B. Don't touch that, baby.
Can you come with me?
Yes, I'm coming with you. So anyway, I am not usually a colorful eyeshadow person. Like, not too colorful, but this makes me feel like I look like a Cleopatra goddess, y'all. What? Are you laughing because I look like a Cleopatra? Here, my baby. A Cleopatra goddess.
No, all the way.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, we're going to have Dr. B on the channel, you guys, next week, Friday. And then, hopefully, me and Jeff are going to get together. And I think he's either going to come on Tuesday or tonight. I don't think he's texted me back yet to let me know. But tonight at about 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, you guys, I'm going to come on. And we're just going to talk about recovery. I'm going to share with you guys, like, everything about what's been going on for the last 4 years in my sobriety. And I just want to share with you guys, like, just some real shit. I'm going to share with you guys, like, I just want to tell you guys about how it's been for me. I am so overwhelmed with gratitude for my recovery. Like, I never thought... I don't mean to get emotional, but I never thought ever that I was going to be able to be sober. I never thought that I would be helping other people, and I certainly never thought that my mom and dad would be proud of me and come into my channel and support me. And it means so much to me, you guys. Like, it means so much to me. Yeah, buddy. They're not going to see you anyway, but you don't have a video taking out. There you go. Okay, now, I'm crying my eyes out as usual. It means so much to me, you guys, to be alive today and to not have that sickness, you know?
Can I have chocolate milk and something to eat? Like my chicken.
For so many years, you guys, I just got high, and I got high because I was hurting on the inside, you know? Honestly, like, I can look back on my life, and I know the reason why I got high was because I didn't feel good about me. I know I used drugs because it all started out at a very impressionable age when I was 16 years old, and I was hanging out with the really popular kids, the kids whose parents would go out of town and leave them alone, and we would have parties at their houses. The kids whose parents would be getting fucked up with us right there in the same room. It was just like, and my parents, you know, they were not about that life. It wasn't going down at my parents' house. So I would not come home. I would leave and stay gone for days. My mom and dad would be so upset because I would leave for like 3 days with my friend Leanne, and I would go to Malvern. And then when I would show back up, I would reek of alcohol and cigarettes and smoke, and just, I would be out of my mind, you know? And so, but it all started out, you guys, at that impressionable age, like I said, when I was younger and when I thought it was cool still. And so when you start out and you're like a teenager, and drugs have this appeal, right? They're like cool. How many of you guys, that's how I started out. I didn't start doing drugs because I got prescribed a medication. Like, of course, now later on down the line with opiates, I did get prescribed opiates after a dental surgery. And that's when I realized, hey, I really like these. And I was 17 and a half then. Remember that, Mom, when I had my wisdom teeth pulled out? They prescribed me Percocets or oxycodone. I can't remember which one, but they were either 10 milligram oxycodone or Percocets or something like that. Not like, you know. And I got a prescription for like a month's worth, you know, and I went through those pills so fast. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Annie. Hey, Reaper Man. I went through those pills in days, like 2 days. I can remember, maybe 3, because I was taking them because they were making me feel good. And at that time, like, I already knew that drugs made me feel good, you know what I mean? But I didn't realize the consequences or the seriousness of what was going on, right? It was like, I don't even know, you know, I didn't realize that's what was going on. They were Percocet, yes. Like, I don't remember, and I knew that I liked the way they made me feel. I knew that I was getting loaded. I knew that they were making me feel good. But what it was is like, I didn't know, like my parents told me, hey, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. My mom would tell me stories about her brothers because her brothers got in a lot of trouble because they were cocaine and marijuana addicts. Like, my uncle got in trouble for, you know, crack cocaine and powder cocaine, and him and his wife, they're sober today, you guys, but they struggled so bad. I can remember visiting my grandma, and they were living in this little house beside my grandma's, like this little shanty house, right? And it was like a little kind of like outhouse kind of thing, but it wasn't, you know what I'm talking about, Mom? That little side house that was beside grandma's house where Uncle Gabriel was staying. And I can remember Uncle Gabriel was like so thin at that time, and Aunt Sandra was so thin too, and I didn't know what was going on, right? But they were having problems with cocaine. And so my mom told me, you know.
Did they look like this?
Yep. My mom told me, like, drug addiction runs in our family on both sides, drug and alcohol addiction. But when I was in the middle of like getting high on pills and abusing, you know, taking methamphetamine and getting high on meth, I didn't realize like the consequences of my actions. You know what I'm saying? And hey, Angel. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Ian.
Mommy.
Okay, stop. Hush. I'm right here, baby. I'm right here.
Tell you something.
I didn't realize the.
I have to tell you something.
Like I said, I didn't realize the consequences. What, Nate? I love you. Mwah. No. Thanks, Sonia. I didn't realize that what was happening and what I was doing to myself was going to later on cause me so much problems. I didn't realize at 17 years old that I was a drug addict already, that I was already addicted. Like, I couldn't go a day without getting high or drunk on drugs or alcohol, weed, pot, cocaine, methamphetamine. And when I graduated high school, that same momentum just stayed. Like, I could not go a day without drinking or drugging. And when I did go a day without drinking or drugging, like, because I had to be at my parents' house because they had like a Thanksgiving dinner, I was miserable. Like, I would rather be under the influence. And at that time, at 18, 19 years old, I still didn't know that I had a problem, you know? I really started to realize I had a problem when I started living with people in trailers with no running water, no lights, because I wanted to be there so I could get high on meth for free. That's when I realized that I had a problem, because I was living in very dismal circumstances. Like, and I didn't have to live there. Like, I had a nice family and a home to live at. I had a nice brand new car that I just bought, you know, that I was driving around, and I had opportunities. I had means to an end. Like, I had family, I had good friends, I had healthy friends that were sober. Like, I had a bunch of friends, you guys, that didn't use drugs. But eventually, all those friends, one in particular, her name was Candy, and we're still friends to this day now, but my friend Candy had to stop being friends with me. And it was the hardest day of my life, because me and this girl, you guys, like, I'm going to tell you all about Candy. Courtney Garcia, but we called her Candy. Me and Candy's a Mexican girl, and we grew up, and we were hand in hand from the time we were like 14, like just always together. And we went out together, we partied together, we got high together, but Candy didn't get high like me. See, I was having Candy drive me to the liquor store on a regular day when we're just sitting at the house, because I had to have alcohol if I didn't have any pills. You know, it got to the point where my parents kicked me out. They were like, listen, you can't stay here anymore. And Candy took me in, and I was living with her. We had our own little, it was a nice trailer out in Cutter Morning Star District. It was nice. I didn't last a month, y'all. Candy kicked me out. She pulled me by my bun and threw me out of the house because I was so high on Xanaxes.
Did you live with Nana?
No. I was so intoxicated on Xanaxes that I was eating everything in the house. I was getting like chocolate cake and falling asleep in the bed with chocolate cake all over my body, y'all. And so she had to throw me out, you know. And that was the day where she said, you know what? No more. I can't watch you kill yourself. And even then, when Candy told me that, I was like, you're overreacting. Like, what are you tripping on, man? I'm fine. I'm fine. I still have my job. I still have my car. People are just tripping. Like, mom and dad, they kicked me out. They're tripping. You're kicking me out. You're tripping. And that's what happened, is like people kept kicking me out. And so I burned all these bridges with the people who cared about me and who were trying to save me, and this is before I ever got in trouble with the law, you guys. So I'm like literally 21 years old, and I've already gotten kicked out of my parents' house, my friend's house, other people's houses. And so I started going around people that were just like me, who wanted to get high like I did. I started going around and staying at dope cooks' houses. You know, that's what I did. I started hanging out with all the dope cooks in Hot Springs. So that way I was pretty, I was young, and I could get drugs for free. And so I would just move on in and stay at each person's house for a little while until they got tired of me and threw me out. When I tell you guys stories like this, it's not because I'm like, yeah, this was so much fun. When I was living in these meth houses with these people, you guys, it was the most dangerous time of my addiction. I can tell you that. Because I was around men and women who were up for so many days, who packed guns on them all the time, who were skeezed out. Or I was dating a guy. I met LD and I started dating him, where it was no thing to like pull a knife on somebody. You know, it was no thing to run through people's trailers and just tearing them up, throwing everything on the ground, kicking the door in, and fighting everybody that you came in contact with. Me and LD had been together for maybe 2 years, and we got our own place. I remember my parents helped us find a nicer little trailer to live in. Remember that, Mom? It was on Amity Road, and it was a nice little trailer. It was older, but it was nice and clean, you know what I mean? We moved in there, and before you know it, we were just strung out, you guys, on meth. Strung out. And we went to this party across the street. And it was you guys, here in Hot Springs, it was like really country town, right? And so everybody in Hot Springs is like either in the is a Ku Klux Klan, or they're in the Aryan Nation, Aryan Brotherhood, kind of thing, especially Peckerwoods, especially the white guys that did methamphetamine, okay? And so we were going over to this party across the street, and I drove my car over there, and we were high as usual. That's what we did. We were always high.
Mom,
And Nate got into what, baby?
In real life, some kids have 2 kids and some kids have 1 kid. And one more thing, some kids have 20 kids.
Yeah, some moms have 20 kids. That's a lot of kids, huh?
Yeah.
We drove over, and LD and I were just hanging out and partying, you guys. And by the time we were getting ready to leave, LD Thunder Road, yes. And so we were on that little Mazarin Road across the street. Remember when this happened, Mom? You guys, I am not even lying. And my mom's here to witness. She can tell you. We were at this party, and these people jumped us so bad that they pulled my door off the hinges of my car. They pulled my car door off the hinges. And this guy jumped on the windshield, bap, 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 and caved my whole windshield in. And so LD jumped in the car, and we were driving off. And I was holding on to my door, you guys. Holding my door while we drove down the road. And he turned down this, it was a curvy road. It was on Little Mazarin, I'll never forget. And he turned the curb, and I flew out the door and got road rash all down the side of my body. And there goes my freaking Ford Focus door. And so I had to go grab the door and jump back in the car, skirt, and drive off. Every single time, you guys.
Mom?
What?
Can I watch Axel?
Yeah. It never failed that we would get into some kind of chaos. But every single time I ever went anywhere with LD, shit was hitting the fan. Somebody was going to get in a fight. He was going to fight somebody. He was going to punch somebody, pull a gun on somebody, stab somebody with a knife. Every single time. Then, so I had to call the cops because I had to make a police report, y'all, because my car door, the whole door was off the hinges. What they did, you guys, was they jumped on my car door, and 2 guys rocked back and forth until that freaking thing snapped off. I was so scared. I was screaming, help, help, they're jumping us. And LD was sitting in the driver's side, and he's like punching this guy in the face, bam, bam. And then I see his knife. He pulls his knife out, and he's just going, and there's stabbing whoever the knife would hit. Okay?
Mom, about not.
Huh?
You just picked an actual show about knife already.
What do you, Axel?
Yeah, let's pick.
Okay.
No.
There you go. It was blood on the top of my car, blood on the bottom of my car. But that's the kind of shit we got ourselves into, was these all-out knife. Like, LD always carried a knife, you guys, and he would always pull it on people. It was so scary. And LD was crazy, you guys. He's dead now. God rest his soul. Like, I feel bad for his family. Honestly, I do. His sister, she has really gotten her life together and made something of herself. She went and got her degree, and she's got, like, a kid, and she got married. But his brother ended up just being, like, just making babies and then leaving the girl that he got pregnant. He's made, like, I think they've had 6 kids. So this family, the way LD's family was, it was like, and I'm not trying to be like prejudiced or anything like that or sound like I'm too good, because I'm not too good, you guys. Okay? Like, I'm not too good. But it was like, okay, the way I was raised, the way my parents raised me was that you work hard. You work for whatever you have. You pay your way. That's why I am so against, like, people coming over here and making GoFundMes. Like, you will never catch me begging y'all for money. You know, if I'm going to get money from you, it's because I'm going to do something for you. Like, that's why I have my Patreon. Like, if you want to support my channel and me, you can go through my Patreon, because that way I'm giving you something for that money, okay? Like, I'm just not going to do it for free and beg you guys, hey, send me money. My PayPal's in the description. You know, like, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I want to do a good or a service for people. I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody, because I know as a person on YouTube who's like has a sober channel and talks about recovery, like I know that people look up to me, or okay, like, and I'm never going to try and take advantage of anybody in that way, because like that is just so important for me to, for y'all to understand. Like I was raised up to like work for what I have, and to treat people with kindness, and to pay my bills on time, and to make sure that my credit was good. My dad always talked about making sure that I kept my credit in good standing, because it was really important. I was taught that there's no such thing as like a black person, a white person, a Mexican person. Like we're all the same. We're all human beings. Like I don't have like a prejudiced bone in my body. Do you know what I mean? Like I love everybody. I don't have anybody that I don't care about. It doesn't matter if you are black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever. And my parents don't speak, like they don't cuss. They don't get drunk. They don't smoke pot. They don't do any drugs. Like I was raised up real straight. And so the way LD was raised was his dad was an alcoholic and his dad was a drug addict. His dad got high with him. You know, his dad was crazy. Like, and he's also passed away. God rest his soul. Honestly, like his name was Mario. He actually really taught me a lot about surviving with no money, because I had never had to survive before until I got around these people and started doing meth. And so I had to learn how to survive with minimal money. Okay, guys? Like the only way I survived was like because Mario taught me how to make something out of nothing. He taught me how to make little meals like shit on shingles. Okay, I'm talking like it's like gravy and hamburger meat on bread. Like I'm talking like barely, like just barely making it. Tuna casserole and little salmon patties, like little cheap meals that you can make. Like you can make it and it's gonna fill you up and you're gonna be okay. Like Mario and his fam, that they all taught me how to live on nothing, because that's what we had to do. We all lived in this trailer on nothing. On my money, excuse me. Let me tell you all the truth. I was the only one working. I worked 2 jobs. At one point, I was working 3 jobs. I was working at the revenue office, I was working at a gas station, and I was working at Sonic. And his whole family, his dad, his sister, and her 3 kids, and her boyfriend, were living up underneath my roof. And I was taking care of everybody, making sure there was direct TV, making sure there was air conditioning, making sure, and I'm a drug addict on top of that. So that's one thing I want you guys to understand when I'm like telling you all my story. Like I worked my ass off until the last 3 years of my addiction. The last 3 years of my addiction, I couldn't keep a job. I was unemployable. I would get a job and I would get fired right off the bat, because I had gotten to this point where the drugs that I did were affecting me so much that I couldn't even talk to people, because I would start stuttering. I would start seeing people that weren't there. I would start getting extreme paranoia to the point where, like I said, I would see things that were not there. And so my parents had to sit back and kind of watch me get taken advantage of for a long time. And that's probably how my parents saw it, was that these people were taking advantage of me, right? But I have to tell you guys, like, I was there because I didn't want to stop getting high. These people, my boyfriend LD and his family, they were opportunists. They knew that I had a big heart. And when I got with LD, I got with him because I wanted to help him get sober, and I wanted to help him get his life together and change. That was the whole point, y'all. When we started dating, it was like, let me just tell you guys, I don't know what's happening right now, but we're talking about it. So let's stay here with me. Y'all stay here, don't leave. When I started dating LD, he was homeless. We lived in my car together because I wanted to be with him. So I chose being homeless over having a home. I lived with him in my car until my parents helped me find a trailer. When I say helped me, I mean, I think, what did y'all do, Mom? Y'all helped me with like the deposit, I think. Did y'all help me with the money, or did I do it on my own? I can't remember, but they might have helped me with like the deposit or something. But what I mean is, like, when I met LD, he told me just all about his life, you guys. He told me about how when he was born addicted to crack and heroin. He told me about his mother and that she was a prostitute. And seriously, his dad had gotten the same prostitute pregnant 3 times. And when he was little, she would stick them in the closet and lock them in there so her and Mario could go get high. One night, LD broke out of the closet, jumped out the window, and went and got a shopping cart. This is in Los Angeles, y'all. And he pushed the shopping cart up to the window so he could get his sister and brother out. I felt so much compassion. I just wanted to help him so bad. Like, seriously, when he told me that story, I cried. His sister would tell me stories about how she didn't have a mom. You know, Mario ended up kidnapping them and bringing them to Arkansas. And so here I had this guy who I was like, I was going to save him. I was going to help him get sober. Yeah, that's okay. And I was going to help him get sober, and I was going to be her big sister. I was going to be the mom she never had. Hey, Robbie. Thanks, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Mwah. You guys, if you haven't already, check out Save Robbie's channel. He has a channel here on YouTube. He does some really cool stuff over there, like with true crime. He also has an ant farm, and he's just a good person. He's in recovery also. But his channel's not about recovery, but he's one of us. So anyway, I had this idea that I was going to save LD, that I was going to start dating him, and that I was going to get him, on the right track. And at the time, you guys, he was on probation through the state of Arkansas because he was a felon. Hey, Dragon Lady. He was a felon, and so I was like, listen, this is what we got to do. We've got to get your record straightened out. We got to get your fines and fees paid down. So that's what I did, you guys. I paid off his fines and fees. I helped him get out of all the legal trouble he was in. The first year we were together, I got him out of all the trouble he was in, helped him get caught up like a probation officer. Like, I was like his mentor, you guys. And we stayed together for 6.5 years, almost 7 years. And the first 3 years of our relationship were wild. We were getting fucked up. But I'm going to tell you guys, the last 3 years, he beat me so bad. He beat me so bad all the time. He would beat me up in front of everybody in the house for no reason. Just because he was mad at me. Because I would come home fucked up from work, because I was sick and tired of sharing drugs with him. I always had to bring him home half. And so towards the end of our relationship, I just stopped bringing him home shit because I was working my ass off. And that's one thing, you guys, I was never a freeloader. Like, I never just rode off people's backs. I worked my ass off during my addiction, whether it was at a job or stealing shit to get high with. Like, I never just fucking, took advantage of people, ever. I never stole from people, ever, I would never steal your drugs or steal your purse or steal your money, right? He beat me up all the time. One day I went to work and I had a black eye, and it was so embarrassing because my boss was like, this is at the state revenue office, you guys. My boss was like, what happened? And I had to lie. I lied and told them that I fell and hit my head on this weight bench. And I was covering for him. My dad was like begging me, like, to tell him, what they could do to help me, what they could do to helped me get out of that situation. And I thought that he was going to change. I thought that he didn't mean it. You know what I mean? I thought that, and that wasn't even the worst, you guys. He really started beating me bad whenever we broke up. So at the end of our relationship, one day he didn't come home, you guys. He didn't come home, and I was like, where the heck is this dude at? Well, he had ended up leaving me for this girl named Ashley. Trashy Ashley. Little white girl, blonde hair. Yeah. You know, he might have, Mom. He might have felt like that. You know, because I was out there doing the damn thing. But he had no confidence in himself. And I tried to build him up, you guys. Please, I tried. But I couldn't fix him, you guys. Like, this kid was so broken. Like, I could not fix him. And he wasn't willing to put in any kind of work. Like, it was all on me. And I'm also actively using drugs, like, trying to fix him. Well, one day he just left and he didn't come back. So you know what I did? I packed up everything. Every single thing, his clothes, everything. I took it all. I took it all and I left and I never came back. And one day we ended up crossing paths like 6 months to a year after we separated. And we hung out together and we drank and we got fucked up. And I'm going to tell you guys, this dude beat me so bad, I pissed myself. This dude beat me so bad. I had a concussion so severe that I couldn't stand up without falling over. He bounced my head off the concrete for 30 minutes straight in the inside of this garage we were at, because we were staying at this guy named Gary's house, who was his boss, this gay guy that he was working for doing construction. And I drove all the way out there to hang out and get drunk because honestly, you guys, like, I still loved him so much. Even though he was so horrible to me, I still loved him. And so the minute he started showing me attention again, that he wanted to be with me again, I ran out there to his house to hang out with him. And we got drunk and I got sassy and he beat the shit out of me. He beat me so bad. I drove back to my parents' house that day or that morning at like 6 a.m. And my mom and dad, I was just fucked up, you guys. I lied down and I couldn't get back up. And at this time I was working overnight at McDonald's, like from 11 to 7. And I remember going into work and I don't even know how I was driving, you guys, because it was so bad I couldn't stand up. Like, that's the only way I can explain it to you. It was so freaking bad that he beat me so bad, so bad. Like, I will never forget how bad that was. And I will never forget being knocked the fuck out. He knocked me the fuck out. And I've been knocked out one other time like that. And I'm going to tell you all about that in just a second. I've never really been in a fight with anybody except for him. And he would beat my ass because he's a guy. I put up a good fight though, but he would beat me down. So let's move away from that because I could go on and on about how this guy beat me up. And how much he scarred me and how much I was, like, you guys, I can't even explain to you, like, when we broke up in 2005, I didn't meet my husband until 2012. Maybe it was 2006 or 7. Anyways, I didn't meet Neil for years later. And after me and LD separated, I went out and I was seeking revenge on men. I'm telling you guys, I played dude so hard. I was the male equivalent of a pimp. Like, the female equivalent of a pimp. I didn't give a damn about any dude out there. Okay? I would have 6 guys, 6 boyfriends in one town in each. You guys, I'm telling you, I would get money. I would get everything I could ever want. And it was because I had this mentality that, like, I will never let anybody else hurt me like that again. I will never get close to a guy where they're going to play me, right? Where they're going to get my heart. I had guys that fell in love with me, who wanted to be with me for the rest of I had a guy, his name was Steve. He was a police officer in Hot Springs. Remember Steve, Mom? And he loved me. He wanted to marry me. He wanted me to be with him for the rest of my life. And I'm an active addict. I am so fucked up. I have this guy meeting me in the village in his fucking patrol car. And I'm like, get out. Let's get fucked up. Let's do it. I have this kid bringing me pills, this police officer bringing me pills because he knows I'm an opiate addict, but he loved me so much. I had him bringing me drugs to my friend Misty's house and bringing me money to get drugs. And I just like turned into this girl who didn't give a fuck. And I was going to get what I wanted no matter what I had to do. And if you was a dude and I could get you, if I could get over on you and you were a guy, it was happening. Like there was no way you were getting past me. And I had that like just, when I met my husband, I had just gotten to this point where I was just like done with men. I was seriously contemplating dating women and never looking back. And when I met my husband, he totally restored my whole outlook on men. He totally showed me what my dad taught me about how a man should treat a woman. When I met my husband, he was so sweet to me, you guys. And when I met my husband, I was living on someone's couch. I was probably 140 pounds. I had the clothes that I had in a couple of backpacks. My car had been impounded. I had nothing. When I met Neil. But Neil and I had so much in common. We had so much potential. We were both so much alike. But we were abusing. We were getting high. We were drug addicts, you know? I went out there because I remember the reason I went out there, Mom. I went out there to see LD because I had this, he was dating a girl. She's a nurse, right? And she had been in contact with me, you guys. And I had told her, do not get with him. He will hurt you. He will hurt you. And this girl was like younger than me. I knew her. She was friends with my little sister's friends. Like I was trying to help her. I was trying to save her. I talked to her mom and everything. Do not go around. This guy will hurt your daughter. He ended up, listen to this. So I went out there to see LD because he was dating that nurse. And I was jealous. And I was like, I'm going to get him back. I was mad that he was with this other girl. He was moving on with his life, right? They got a house together. She's a freaking registered nurse. I was so pissed. And so I went out there to seek revenge on this girl because she wasn't listening to me. And first of all, not staying around him because he was going to hurt her. And I was telling her that because he really was going to end up hurting her. But she didn't listen. And I was also telling her that because I was jealous and I didn't want her fucking with him. Well, what ended up happening, you guys, one night, her and LD, the nurse and LD, were driving around. And he was driving the car and they got into an argument. And he threw her out of this truck. They had a big Suburban. And she busted her face on the curb. And she had to get plastic surgery on her face, on one side of her face, where her whole eye canal caved in from hitting the curb, from falling out of the truck going 45 miles an hour. And so when I read about that, I was like, I told you that he would kill you. He would hurt you. She will never be the same. Her face is fucked for life. And that was from him. The first time I ever went out with LD, we had probably been together for 6 months. The first time he ever showed me that he was crazy as fuck was when we were driving my car. I was driving, and we were vodka drunk, and I was pissed off because he was fucking with my radio, and I was like, dude, I'm trying to listen to something. Quit fucking with my radio. And this is my bad, but still, he didn't have to do this, and so he kept on fucking with it. So y'all know me. I was drunk. I said, bah! And punched him right in the fucking head. Right here. He had a black eye for like weeks. Right in the side of his head. Like right there. He grabbed my steering wheel and threw us into oncoming traffic. We got hit by a car. We got T-boned. Bam! Right in the middle of my vehicle. Thank God we didn't get hit head on. And I was drunk. Vodka drunk. So we get out of the car. The guy that hit us, they drove off. They were fucked up too. And I left my car there with a note, and we ran down Park Avenue. Remember that, Mom? When my car was over there by the hotel on Grand Avenue? And I left my car there, you guys. Locked it up, left it there. On 4 flats. My car was on 4 flats, and the whole side of it was caved in. Total my car. I was able to get it fixed, but it was never the same after that. It broke my my axle and everything. It was so bad, you guys. And right then, he took off running and left me there. I should have knew right then what kind of person he was. But I was just like, I was so crazy in love with this guy, you guys, that he didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. He fucking tried to kill us. And not only did he do that, but his sister and her boyfriend were in the back seat. So his sister was crying. I can't believe you did that, LD. How could you do that? I'm in the car. Fuck you, bitch. I'm in the car. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to love me. I'm supposed to be his old lady. This dude had no care in the world about anybody but himself. He would have killed me if I would have given him a chance. And he tried many, many times to kill me. But I kept going back because I had been brainwashed. I had been beaten down so low that that's all I thought I deserved. My self-esteem and my self-worth and the way I felt about myself was that I would never get anybody who loved me like he did, because we fought really hard, but when we made up and we were like loving each other, we were like together. It was a crazy, psychotic Harley Quinn and the Joker ass relationship, y'all. Like, I'm not even lying to you. So freaking crazy. Yeah, I felt sorry for Steve too, because now it's sad because I look back on that and he's married like 2 girls since me, 1 stripper and a midget. Y'all, I'm not even lying to you. And this guy has like struggled ever since with depression really, really bad. And I look back on that time and hey mister, I made amends to him 2 or 3 years ago when I got sober. I made amends to him in my amends. So I ended up reaching out to him on Instagram and talking to him. I've actually made amends with all my exes except for LD because he's dead. But like, I called Robert and talked to him when I got sober, you guys, and made amends with him. You told her. Yeah, I told her. Her name was Brandy, you guys, and now her face is like so messed up. But okay, so now that we've talked about LD, I was gonna shift you guys over. What do y'all want to know? Is there any questions you guys have since we're sitting here chopping it up? I remember it like it was yesterday, and it makes me sick every time I think about it. Oh, I know, Mom. LD was so bad for me, and my parents tried so hard, you guys, to like help me to get out of that relationship, to encourage me. But like I said, I was just so down on myself that I couldn't see like how bad he was for me until I got out of the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it took. It took me getting out of that relationship and away from him and out from underneath that. Like, it was almost like he was like had me brainwashed, you know? And like, I wasn't innocent in any of it, you guys. Like, I would fight back with him, but it was because he hurt me, you know? I was not a bad girlfriend. Like, I didn't cheat on him. I wasn't promiscuous. Like, I was fucking loyal to a fault, you know what I mean? It was bad. It was really bad. But so those are times in my addiction, like, where, okay, so that just made my addiction even worse, you guys, okay? And when me and LD broke up, that's when I started shooting up. Because when I was with him, I didn't shoot up because he had told me that he shot up before and that I shouldn't do it because if I did, I would never, ever stop doing it. And so I took his word for it and never did it. And he didn't either. Like, and that was one thing that I was like so proud of him for, because he didn't start shooting up. You know, when we were together, I was like, man, he would tell me stories about how it was just such a bad thing and that if you did, and I was always like kind of curious, but I didn't understand, you know? And so when me and LD broke up, that's when I started using the needle. And you know, I started going around other people who were using a needle, and when I started, and that's before the needle, you guys, and you guys think that's crazy. My life was crazy then. These are the kind of things that I got into when I was in my active addiction, and I was literally like almost killing myself and others all the time. And I was ruthless after I started. I was ruthless in my addiction, in the fact that like I didn't care if I died. Like I was ready. Balls to the wall, let's do this. I was fucking rocking with it, you know. If I was gonna get high, I was gonna get high, and I was gonna be fucked up all the time, and nobody was gonna stop me. You know what I mean? Thanks, Robbie. And yeah, so my mom's talking about Robert, and that was my first real boyfriend, like my first boyfriend that like we had intercourse, and we got, had sex. He's my first person I ever hooked up with like that. And we were together for 5 years. Right, Mom? Like 5 years? Yeah. And but the deal was with Robert was I had really a low self-esteem when we started dating, and he was always like really hard on me about my weight. And that was the first time that I like really realized that like if I wanted to keep this guy and keep him in love with me, then I needed to lose weight. And Robert encouraged that thinking in my mind. And so what I started doing was I started stopped eating. I started starving myself, you guys. And then I started smoking meth. This is before I shot up. This is 17 years old when I was dating him. I was about 21 when I started dating LD. 21 to about 25. Okay, and Robert was about 16 to 21. Okay, and so the way I met LD was overlapping. I met LD right as I was breaking up with Robert. And so I went straight from that relationship with Robert into a relationship with LD. Okay, so y'all following me here? So, okay. So after me and LD broke up, Mommy's asking about Joe. So I need to tell you guys about Joe. And my mom, this is all new for her because she's getting to hear the real story. And my mom knows all about the stuff I did in my addiction. That's why I don't feel uncomfortable saying it around her, because she's already heard it, you guys. Because sometimes I say these stories and she doesn't realize that I'm going to be going into a story like this. And she comes over and watches my videos, and then she finds out the hard way. Right, Mom? So, okay. So Robert was really hard on me about my weight. And so I started being very self-conscious at a young age about my weight, you guys. And this is what prompted my whole methamphetamine and stimulant addiction, cocaine, meth, all that. And that's where I really started getting into hardcore drugs like cocaine and methamphetamine was then. And I was, like I said, 17. And after me and Robert broke up, I had started dating LD, and the same thing. I just continued using drugs and stimulants because I had already been on them for so long while I was with Robert. No, baby. Oh, yeah, right over there in that cup. But what happened with Robert was over there on my desk by the light, he encouraged me to starve myself, to restrict my diet, and to not eat. And he also encouraged the methamphetamine use. He didn't encourage it openly and say, "Oh yeah, do methamphetamine," but he encouraged it by saying, "You've lost so much weight. You look so great. If you would just lose 5 more pounds, you would be perfect." And he would always say that, you guys. He would always tell me that if I would just lose 5 more pounds, that I would be perfect. And so I was constantly trying to reach this goal of weight loss because Robert was telling me if I lost more that I would be perfect, right? And so I believed it too. And so that's what started out my relationships with bad men, you guys, like with men who didn't give a damn about me. And so that was Robert, and then we went to LD, and then after LD, I started shooting up. And That's when I got raped, is after me and LD. Me and LD broke up, started using the needle, and I started living with this guy named Shane. And one night, that's a whole other story. I'll tell that story all by itself. But y'all, it was so scary. So that happened, and then this is when I started going into treatment centers. Like, I went into my first treatment center, which was Quapaw House. Remember that, Mom? My parents had insurance on me, I think, still till I was 26, I want to say. And I got into Quapaw House and went to treatment, came out and relapsed, didn't stay sober, and had started using the needle. And I got in a lot of trouble with the law because I had methamphetamine in my car and syringes and all kinds of stuff, you guys, to make dope with. And I ended up getting like a Class C felony and put on probation. And so I eventually, for a year, I failed drug tests. That's all I did, was fail drug tests the whole year. And I remember my dad being like, you got to get your life together. Like, this is so serious. You're on the front page of the paper. My dad was so upset. Because now everybody in our town seen his daughter on the front page of the paper as a meth addict. You know, now it's like out. I mean, people knew, but now it was really out. And so I got off. I was on probation, you guys, and I could not stay sober. So I ended up going to prison. And I went to prison in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, at a place called RPF. And I was there for 3 months in county, and then I went to RPF for almost a year, 10 months, I think. 9 months, 10 months. It was a year altogether being locked up, and it was not fun. And I stayed there. My mom and dad visited me every Saturday, and thank God, because I didn't have nobody else to come in there and visit me, you guys. Like, that's what happens when you're in active addiction. You think you have all these friends. You think you have all these people that care about you. You think, you know, these are your ride or die people, right? I'm here to tell you guys, those motherfuckers don't give a damn about you. Okay? Please understand that. That when you are in your active addiction, it's every man for themselves. And so do not get it twisted thinking that people will give a damn about what's going on for you. I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way many times, where in a situation where drugs were found in my car, I thought the person who the drugs were would admit it and say, those are my drugs. But instead they didn't, and they let me take the rap, you know? And so I'm telling you guys, like, people that are in active addiction, they don't give a fuck about you. I'm telling you. Like, I thought they did too, y'all. I'm telling you what, I was loyal. Like I said, I was a ride or die, like, loyal ass chick. My friends that I ran with them hard. But when when the rubber met the road and the law started getting involved, them motherfuckers left me high and dry. They left me, okay? And I didn't talk. I didn't narc. And that's why I got locked up. Because they offered to let me out. They offered to take my charges and just take them, get rid of them, if I had signed a deal to do 3 confirmed buys with the state. And I didn't do it. I didn't take it, because if I had taken it, then people that were after me because of the methamphetamine people I ran with would have came after my family and fucked my family shit up, their cars, their houses, everything. And my dad told me, like, because I come home and I told my parents, like, they've offered me this deal if I tell them and go buy drugs and be a CI. And my mom and my dad was like, no, you don't do that. Like, you go and do your fucking time. And I was just like, all right, you know, I already knew that I wasn't going to go tell on nobody. I'm not a narc. That's just not my deal. Like, I was guilty for having drugs in my car. It didn't matter if they were my drugs or not. I had drugs in my car, and I knew they were there because I was doing them, you know. So I got locked up, you guys. And when I came out of prison, I paroled out here to Little Rock, where I live now. And I had every intention, you guys, of staying sober when I got here to Little Rock. I was like, I actually set myself up for success. I paroled out to a place here off University Avenue. It's called RCA, Recovery Centers of Arkansas. Hey, Hannah. Thank you. And I paroled out there, you guys, and I set myself up for success. I got a job, a really good job working for Kroger, and I got promoted to assistant deli manager within 5 months. I was working a program. I had a sponsor. I was going to meetings. I got my car. My parents were, I was doing good. I was doing it. I was making changes, y'all, for real. I really was. And I had this passion. I had this passion to help other people. And I was, y'all, just like I am now, I've always been that same way. I can think back to when I was living in the halfway house. And I was like one of the main people who like helped the counselors and talked with the other girls and helped inspire the girls to let them know that they weren't alone. Or if there was a new client that was a female and they needed help, you know, showing them around. Like I was the one who was up there at the front. I was the one who put together the softball league, the co-ed softball league, where we all played fast pitch softball. I was the one who was like, hey guys, let's have dinner after we go out to the meeting tonight, and let's have fellowship together, just like I am here on my channel. I was that same way when I got sober, when I came out of prison, you guys. Like, and I had every intention of staying sober. I really, really did. And I did stay sober for 9 months. I did so good for 9 months, you guys. And I was living on my own in a little apartment. And I'm going to tell you guys the mistake I made. I let my job take priority over my recovery. I let my job become my number one focus, and making money become my number one focus. I took my focus off of God and off of my sobriety, and I put it on my job and on material things like money. And I relapsed shortly after that. And that's the last time I ever got sober until this time. I relapsed and I stayed out for from the time 2010 to 2015. I stayed out in them streets of Little Rock. And what made it a little bit more difficult was I was in Little Rock, my family was in Hot Springs, and so it made it more difficult because like I was here on my own. And so I had to like really start doing things to make my own way, you know. I was able somehow to hang on to my job from 2010 to 2013. I worked for Kroger for 3 years. And in those 3 years, Kroger sent me to rehab one time. And they tried to help me get my life together. They tried to help me get sober, you guys. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. So now I'm going to tell you guys about Joe, since my mom asked about it. So Joe came into play, guess what? At RCA. So I was living in the halfway house, and I was outside smoking on the back deck thingamajigger. And at that time, the halfway house that I lived in, they had classes for federal guys that had just got out of the federal penitentiary. And so Joe was there smoking cigarettes out in the back, and he was there waiting for his class to start, right? And I remembered, you guys, the Nicole back then, I had no fear, and I knew that I knew I was pretty. I was confident in the way I looked to men. I knew men thought I was attractive. And so I remember seeing Joe and thinking that he was just so cute. He was a natural redhead, and he had like a little red goatee, but his head was shaved bald, completely bald, like smooth bald. And he had a sleeve, like his arm was tatted up on his right sleeve. And he had on a white V-neck shirt with a white wife beater, nice dark blue jeans, and some like Timberland boots. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And I thought, wow, he is so cute. So I just walked over and told him, hey, this is my phone number, and gave him a piece of paper with my phone number. And he called me. He called me that night and was like, hey girl, I'm actually sneaking on this phone because I live in the federal halfway house. I just got out of the penitentiary. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, what's up? And he's like, well, I just thought we could hang out sometime. I come over there all the time. But here's the thing. He had to wear this thing on his leg where they monitored everywhere he went. It's like a location thing, right? And so the only time he could come visit me when he was going to those classes next door, because my apartment was behind there. And so that's how me and Joe started hanging out. We started hanging out from the jump right then. Well, guess what happened, you guys? He was over at my apartment one day and he got busted. And so when you get busted and you're on federal parole, what they do is they send you back to jail for 30 days. So I felt so guilty. Here he is sneaking over to my apartment to hang out with me, and he got caught. Now let me tell you guys, this is so funny and y'all are gonna laugh. So he was sneaking over to my apartment and we were gonna have sex for the first time. We were gonna hook up, y'all. And I just, like I'm saying, I liked this guy so much. You can ask my mom. Like, I chased him for so long. And so he came over and we were doing the deed, and that's when I realized that he had one leg. He only had one leg. And what I mean by that is he had one real leg and his other leg was a prosthetic leg from his knee down. And I did not have any idea until he is butt naked on top of me. Yes, Annie, that was Joe. Okay, and y'all remember Joe he didn't call me, but he messaged me, remember, like 3 months ago, because he was in jail, and he told me, hey, Nicole, I'm going to jail, get me a bondsman, remember? That's how this dude knows that, that's how ride or die I was for this guy, okay? So, one-legged Joe, that's who we're talking about. So, he ends up going to jail, you guys, for 30 days. And I was like, fuck, man, he's in jail. Like, I got to help him. I got to put money on his books. So that's what I did. I came and visited him every Thursday. I put money on his books. And I just stayed there to help him out because his mom was so upset with him. She wasn't going to help him. I remember calling her and telling her, hey, this is Nicole. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be putting money on his books and helping him out, blah, blah, blah. And she was really grateful to me, but she was like, Nicole, he's been doing this for so many years. I'm just done. And she was at that point my parents were getting with me, but I saw, again, just like with LD, you guys, I saw so much potential in Joe, and I thought, he was a good person. He really was a kind person on the inside. It was just hard getting to that point. It's hard finding that, Now my goal is, you guys, now that I feel like I know I can stay sober, do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I've went through so many, temptations and opportunities where I could have went and got high, and I know that I don't want to. Do you know what I'm saying? So now what I want to do, I really want to focus on, and I'm telling you guys the truth from the bottom of my heart, is getting my fucking body right. Is getting in shape, and I want to get addicted to going to the gym. I want to get addicted to dancing again. I want to get addicted to coming home and getting off work, going to the gym, dancing my ass off, then coming home and rearranging things at my house when I get my own house. Because that's the thing, living in my mother-in-law's house, and you can see just clutter. This is just stuff. It's not mine. This piano, it's not mine. It's an old junk piano. I want to move into my own space where I can make the house my own and make it beautiful and decorate it and do all these things. So I want to get my body healthy and I want to make my home beautiful. But this is the thing, this isn't my home. This is just a place that I'm staying until me and Neil can find our own house to buy, which you guys know that we kind of hit a plateau with buying places because we have to wait till September for Neil's bankruptcy to come off of his record, because that will it'll just make our whole loan process and everything much better. But that's my goal. I want to get in shape and I want to feel good about my body again. Because just like I'm telling you guys these stories, I had confidence in myself physically because I felt good about my body back then. When I came out of prison and I met Joe, I had been sober for 7 or 8 months when I met Joe, and I had started working out. Actually, let me be straight up honest with you guys. I had started eating 1,200 calories a day, and I had started walking every single day, about 2 to 3 miles a day. Hey, Calvin. Thanks, Angel. I had gotten really serious, you guys, and I had gotten so dedicated that it didn't matter if it was rain, snow, sleet, or shine. I was out there at that track walking around it for about 2 hours. I'd be out there, an hour and a half, 2 hours, just walking around the track, and eating 1,200 calories a day. With that diet and that exercise regimen, you guys, I was so toned and fit. I'm telling you guys right now, I looked like my old self from when I was in high school, when I was dancing. I looked like Dancer Nicole. My legs were stacked. My calves and my thigh muscles were banging. My legs were tan. I remember I had these, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm serious, which I still have really nice legs. That's one of the things that has always stayed muscular on me. But my midsection, my tummy, is where I struggle. And so now I want to get in shape and get this extra weight off me, get these a little bit smaller and this a little bit smaller, and I will be back on point. And I will really feel good, because a lot of the depression, a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the weak feelings that I feel in the badness I feel about myself is because of the way I feel about my body, because I don't have confidence, because I don't feel healthy, because I'm not making healthy choices and eating right. And it really does affect my well-being and how I feel on the inside. Like, I know this. Like I'm not over here lying and saying like, oh, it doesn't bother me. Like, y'all, being overweight fucking bothers me so much. Okay? It really fucking bothers me. But I know that it's my own fault. Okay? I know that I have eaten myself into this position. And so now I've got to take responsibility and make the proper changes. And so that is the hard part for me. The hard part for me is getting started and staying on the right track with my food intake. Hi, hiking hippie. That is the hard part for me, is staying consistent with my diet and exercise. And that's how it was with me when I got sober. It was hard for me to stay consistent. It was hard for me to get sober and stay sober. I can start the journey, but it's staying on it that was hard for me. And I feel like what has happened for me with my recovery, I have found what works for me, you guys, in sobriety. I have found my niche, what helps me. Like, I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I wake up, do my meditation, do my prayer, call my sponsor, do a video with you guys, go to a meeting, I'm going to feel good. And I make sure that I stay consistent with that. And so now that I feel like I've got a consistent regimen for recovery, right? Now I feel like it's time to get a consistent regimen for my health. And I've been saying this for about 6 months, you guys. And I have been dragging my ass, right? But I'm telling you what, I am ready to start changing. Yeah, that's all. And the thing about it is, you guys, all I have to do is watch my calorie intake and exercise. That's it. That's how easy it is. So anyway, that's the goals that I have now. And I just want to continue helping people with my channel and inspiring other people to get sober and stay sober. I hope by the end of this year, by December, that my channel will be at a point where it's grown enough to where, I can do like more things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want to grow my channel, you guys. And so I have actually contacted one of my good friends, and she is going to teach me how to edit and make thumbnails. So that way I can start making better quality videos. And that way, you guys it will have more people come in. Hey, Gertrude. Yes, I'm a drug addict. I'm a recovering drug addict, but I'm a drug addict. If you have any questions, feel free to ask at any time. So yeah, that's my whole, like, that's what I want to do to make changes. You know what I'm saying? And staying sober was my main focus, you guys. My main focus was changing my life and getting myself together, right? And that was the hardest. Man, I'm going to tell you what. Getting sober and staying sober was the biggest challenge for me because I struggled for so many years doing it. So I had this, hey, Bad. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I had this, like, preconceived notion that I was going to fail every single time because I had failed so many times. I had tried to get sober and stay sober so many times, you guys, and I would fall off track, right? And so what I did was I let that really set the tone for my recovery in the future. And if I can, like, encourage you guys to not beat yourself up, when you're struggling, because it's difficult at the beginning, because honestly, it's a mental obsession. And that's why it was so hard for me, because I thought that if I just stopped doing drugs, that it was going to be easy. I was going to stop doing drugs. I was going to stop drinking alcohol. And that's all. I'm sober now. Woohoo! But that was just the beginning. I learned so much more about myself through getting sober and learning about how, man, drugs and alcohol were just the tip of the iceberg. I had so much more things that I needed to work on changing. Like everything, you guys. Everything. I had no love for myself. And I had no respect for myself. And that's why, like, I tell you guys these crazy stories about me when I was in active addiction. And they're dangerous stories. I mean, they're not good. They're stories I should not even be alive right now, right? The reason I was doing those things was because I was really, really out of my mind. You were a sex worker? Was I? No, I wasn't a prostitute, Gertrude. But I will tell you, I have, and when I was in my active addiction, you guys, I had done things for drugs. I wasn't employed that way. Like, how do I say this? Like, it wasn't a constant thing I ever did. Like, what I mean is, I didn't go out and stand on the corner and meet guys for sex. No. There were times, though, like, where I was very good friends with my drug dealer, and he was attractive, and I would do things for him to get free drugs. So I have performed some acts like that, but it was nothing that I did on, like, a constant basis. Like, that was, like, when I was really desperate, so I could probably count 5 times that I've done that in my addiction. So I'm not proud of it, and I'm not dogging on anybody. Like, if any of you have been sex workers, and while you were in your active addiction, like, I understand. Like I said, I was, like, so not confident most of the time that I would have rather go out and, like, steal stuff than to, do sex work, because I was very insecure. So it took a lot for me to do those things with men. Like, when I did trade myself for drugs, I had to be very high. Thank you, Liz. I was really, really had to be comatose, basically, to do that stuff, because I was just so insecure about my body. Like, I knew I was pretty, but, like, I was just, like, I think that sex workers, people who do it for a living, they, like, either really have confidence or they are just really, really insecure. Do you know what I'm saying? And they do it because they had to get high, So in my addiction, you guys, like, I've done everything for drugs. I have, traded my body in services for drugs. I have stole things for drugs. I have I've done all kinds of different things. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like, I'm not offended or anything. My addiction took me to some places that I'm not proud of. Like, at all. But I need you guys to understand, and if you're here on my channel and you're not an addict and you're just trying to like learn about the disease of addiction or understand it, when I was in active addiction, I was not the person that I am today. I was mentally unstable. I was ill in my head, okay? The only way I can explain it to you is that drugs and alcohol, when I put drugs into my body, they changed me. And the power to choose the right choice, the power to do the right thing, was not there when I was on drugs. When I first started using drugs, it was very easy to stop. Oh, I don't want any more. I'll just quit. Right? The first 6 months I was on drugs, I started using drugs. But after the first 6 months that I was continuously using drugs, I crossed over an imaginary line where I became physically and mentally dependent on drugs. And no, it wasn't because my willpower was weak. No, it wasn't because my parents didn't raise me right. No, it wasn't because I'm, chose to be there. Drugs took control of my life. Drugs made decisions for me. The draw to drugs was so strong for me. The obsession to use, the addiction was so strong that it made me choose things that were not good for me. Thank you, Liz. Like, if I could go back and not do that shit, like, I wouldn't do it, any person in their right mind doesn't choose to degrade themselves. Any person in their right mind doesn't steal from their, doesn't take their mother's credit card. Hold on, guys. Can y'all see me? Okay. So, any person in their right mind, you guys, isn't like, oh yeah, guess what? I'm going to shoot drugs for the rest of my life and it's going to be so amazing, right? Because it's not. It's not amazing. It's horrible. The things that drugs and alcohol prompted me to do, they changed me. It changed me forever, right? Like, I was raised by amazing parents, you guys, a wonderful family. My parents instilled values in me. They taught me right from wrong, right? It wasn't their fault. It wasn't because I didn't know right from wrong. It was because I made one bad choice. I made one bad choice to use drugs with my friends when I was younger. And that moment right there changed me for the rest of my life. And when I took drugs into my body, it triggered a craving inside of me. I cannot even explain it to you guys. It was so crazy that I can't even believe that I did those things, right? I cannot believe that I was that person. I look back on that now, you guys, and I think I was so crazy, How could I have done those things? What was I thinking? Oh my gosh, my family, my parents, my friends, how embarrassed I am, how ashamed I am, how horrible I was. I realized that the things that I was doing were not good. But at the time when I was into my active addiction, I could not see that, you guys. I thought at the time I was in my active addiction, I was blotting out reality. I was just trying to escape pain. I was trying to escape insecurity. I was trying to escape my own mind. And that's not an excuse. I'm not making excuses for my addiction. I'm not making excuses for what I did. No. I'm just telling you guys, like, I was not in my right mind. I was not in my right mind. Now, today, this is the Nicole that's in her right mind. This is the Nicole that does the right thing and helps other people and wants to encourage others to make good choices. But it took me going into that really bad part of my life, you guys, to realize, like, life is so amazing. And I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be sober. I'm so grateful to have my son. I'm so grateful to have my parents in my life, that they don't freaking not want to be around me anymore. I'm so grateful to have my little sisters. I'm so grateful to have my channel to share with you guys. Oh, thank you so much, Liz. You are amazing. Appreciate you so much. That you did not have to do that, but I really do appreciate it. You know what, you guys? Like, I'm telling you right now, like, we're all good people. We make bad choices. And that's the only way I can explain it to you. If you're not a drug addict and you have someone in your life who is using drugs and you just can't understand it, right? The only way I can explain it to you is that person is not who you know. They're not the person that they were before they started using drugs. Drugs and alcohol take over that person. And it's a sickness. It's a sickness. And until that person seeks treatment and is willing to take suggestions and make the changes, then guess what? They are going to continue on in their addiction. And a lot of people, you guys, struggle because they don't think they can get sober. Okay? Imagine, tell me something, you guys. I want you to list one thing that you know is not good for you, but you just can't stop doing it. Smoking cigarettes, eating a bunch of candy. You know it's not good for you, but you just do it anyway. You just can't stop doing it. Maybe it's having unprotected sex. Maybe it's, let me think. Overeating. Like, that is what drugs are. That's what it is like. Alcohol. I cannot tell you how many alcoholics that I have met that drink alcohol, and because it's legal, they think it's not a big deal and that they don't have a problem. But they cannot go one day without drinking alcohol. One day. That's what it's like when you have an addiction. You know that it's not good for you. You know that it's harmful. You know that you could potentially die from it. But the draw to it, the addiction, it's an addiction. The addiction to it is so much greater than the consequences that you're willing to risk them. Imagine, this is what it's like to be on heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine. That the feeling produced by those drugs is so great that you are willing to risk your own life to get that feeling. And you're probably going, well, Nicole, if you say that feeling is so good, then why aren't you still doing it? Well, because what happens is it stops working after a while. If I could get high today, you guys, and not lose my home, not lose my son, not drive my car off into a wall, not kill myself potentially, I'd probably still do it. Because that damn feeling is the shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would probably dabble every now and then. I don't know if I would do it as like a normal thing, because I'm happy and content in my life where I feel like I have a happiness today. I have I have a good feeling today about the way I feel, right? But if I had a down day where I wasn't feeling good and I knew that I could get high without any consequences, without my life falling apart to shambles, it would be very tempting, you guys. It would be very tempting. But I'm not going to fool myself. I'm not going to lie to you. That is what, when you take drugs and alcohol, it doesn't matter. Just give it some time. You will get to the point where the consequences, the feeling produced by drugs and alcohol stops and is no longer working. And the consequences get so drastic that you're like, ooh, shit, I can't do this anymore. I've got to stop. And that's what happened for me. The consequences and the feeling produced was not worth it anymore. And I was killing myself and dying, and I don't want to do that anymore. But it took my son being born and being removed from my care for me to open my eyes and realize that I'm hurting myself. You know, this is not good. I don't want to do this. I don't want to die anymore, you know? But I'm telling you, like, if you're a drug addict, I know you're going to know what I mean, right? If you could get high and it wasn't killing you, and you, like I said, you weren't going to lose your kids or your job or any money, you know, and you could still use drugs and that feeling would still be good and you wouldn't have anything bad happen, I'm telling you, so many people would still do it. Because that's what it is. The only way I can even compare it, oh my God, Liz, cigarettes were so hard for me to quit. I'm going to tell you what inspired me to finally quit smoking cigarettes was one day my son came outside, and I've been quit for almost a year now. My son came outside and he picked a cigarette butt up off the ground, and he was holding it like he was smoking it at like 3 years old. And I was like, oh, hell no. And so that's why I quit. But for the longest time, I would justify and rationalize, you know, oh, it's not a big deal. It's better than being on dope. It's better than, you know, getting fucked up. But you guys, like, cigarettes will kill you faster than, I mean, same as drugs. You know, it's just all not good for us, you know. And now that's the same hardship I'm facing with food. Just like with drugs and alcohol, food can hurt you too. I mean, it's not healthy for me to be, you know, Liz, I'm telling you what, girl, and that made me feel, I felt so horrible inside when that happened, you know? And so now, you know, I'm grateful now that I'm not smoking anymore, that's for sure, because I don't smell bad, my clothes don't stink, I can breathe a lot better. It's just, you know, I all around feel better now. But it took a long time for me to get to a point where, like, I finally realized, like, not smoking cigarettes wasn't worth it either, you know? It's just like I'm telling you something, you guys, with addiction and drugs, it's a process. Like, we all go through these changes. It's an evolution, okay? Like, I have gone through a spiritual evolution since I've gotten sober. All right, everything in my life has changed. Okay, when I was in active addiction, you guys heard me. I was telling you guys the stories. That was the Nicole I was back then. I would, you know, rob stores. I would pull guns on people. I would, you know, do acts for drugs, do things that I'm not proud of for drugs. And that was what it was like for me. It was like for me in active addiction. It didn't matter what was going on. I was going to get what I had to get, you know, and that's not who I am today. You know, I am the Nicole I was always meant to be today, which is a helper. So that's what I was meant to be. I was put on this earth to help other people. That's my job. I was put on this earth to share my life with other people. I'm telling you guys, this is why I'm here. I have never felt more passionate about anything in my entire life until I got sober and started sharing my experience with other people. and do my channel. I'm telling you guys, I'm so dead serious. It is the most amazing, wonderful feeling in the whole wide world to be able to give back what was so freely given to me. It's like, and I feel like this is what I was put on earth to do. I feel like God has come down from the heavens and showed me, Nicole, this is why you're alive. Yeah, girl, listen to me, Liz. Let me tell you how desperate I was when I was... Okay, I've always struggled with an addiction to food, long before I ever started using drugs. So I've always been an addict. Even before I used drugs, I was an addict. And I want you guys to look back on your life and look back before you ever picked up drugs and alcohol. Is there anything in your life that you can identify and say, you know what, Nicole? Yeah, me too. I was addicted to blah, blah, blah. You know, I was addicted before I used drugs. And that was to food. And so with food for me, I was so addicted to food and so desperate to eat when I wanted to eat that I can remember my dad putting a deadbolt, remember that, Mom? On the refrigerator at the house. And I would go and look for this damn key to this deadbolt to get to go into the refrigerator to get snacks because I wanted to eat. And that's what I'm saying, you guys, like, addiction for a lot of us was there before we ever got high on drugs. When we got high on drugs, it just kind of like highlighted it and showed it, you know, even more. But a lot of us had those problems before we ever even got high. And I didn't realize that. Like, I learned all this stuff about myself because of my sponsor and because of going to therapy. Like, I did not realize that I had this addiction. This addiction. I didn't realize I had addictions before I got on drugs. I thought, you know, okay, so, you know, but addiction can manifest itself in parts of your life, you guys, that even not with drugs and alcohol. It can be in your life with sex. It can be in your life in relationships. It can be in your life like it was for me, addicted to trying to save men. That was another way my addiction was showing itself. I was trying to save these men that are, you know, first of all, no one can save anyone, you know, unless that person is willing to put in the work. I was just losing time. And I've learned that over time, you know, by working with other people and doing service work and stuff, I've learned that, you know, there's a big difference between somebody who says, hey, yeah, I want to do this, and somebody who does it. A lot of people will say, yeah, I want to change my life, I want to get sober, I want to do the right thing, and they will never do it. They will talk about it all day long, but they will never do it. So it's really, really important, like, whenever somebody reaches out to me and they're eager and willing and they're ready to take suggestions, hell yeah, I'm going to jump on it. I'm like, okay, let's get to work. Let's start doing this. It's like it's a point where you got to jump and get on there and help them because they're ready to do it. And when they're ready, sometimes there is a small window, you guys, where someone is like ready to make changes and then they slip back into their old behavior. And then so it's like when that window opens, when that door opens, you got to strike while the iron is hot, especially if you're trying to be in a helping profession where you're helping people, you know? I don't know what I'm going to make for dinner, Mom. I got to start getting ready. Damn, I didn't realize how late it is. Have fun, Angel. That'll be so cool. You should vlog it for us. You should put it on vlog it on your channel. I know, I just got to talking. I was having such a good time talking with you guys. What is Oh Boy Tipsy? I have no idea what that is. But I'm telling you guys, like, when you get into this, like, when you get into helping other people, and it's such an amazing experience, and it's just like, I love being a part of life today. I never thought that I would get to a point where I felt good about myself and I was actually like wanting to help others. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you guys, like, I was not happy in my life. And I can honestly say, you guys, I am so freaking excited about my life today. Hey, Liz, where did you come from? Do you mind telling me where you came from? Because I would love to know, like, where all of you guys found me at, because I'm really trying hard to get my name out there and meet other people and share my channel, you know? Yes, sir. So if you guys, like, where are you guys finding me at? Because I'm seeing a lot of new people in my chat today. And so I'm just like, where'd y'all come from? Where'd y'all come from? Hey, first and last, what's up? From Robbie's channel. Okay, awesome. I love Robbie. He's so sweet. Oh, Liz, awesome. Hey, Karen, what's up? He did? That's so, man, Robbie, thank you so much. I was like, where? Listen, you guys, I was noticing that a whole bunch of new people were here because I usually I'm very, like, active with my chat, you know, and so I know everybody. Welcome to our group. That's my mom, Miss DeMeo, Gina, just so y'all know, if y'all are wondering. And that's Annie. Hearts of Love is Annie. She is, what did I call you yesterday, Annie? I told her she was going to be my executive producer. Thank you, Liz. Greetings to you, too. Yeah, my channel is just about recovery from addiction, you guys, and I'm just sharing my life experience with y'all. And sometimes I just do live streams where I talk about, you know, my sobriety and my experience, and then other days I do live streams. On Sundays we do Narcotics Anonymous basic text readings. On Tuesdays we do Alcoholics Anonymous big book studies, and on Fridays we do a MAT support group. So I have a little bit of everything over here that is, like, recovery related, and then I just like to come on here and talk to you guys, you know what I'm saying? Because helping other people and just that's my mom. Gina is my mom. Helping other people and sharing my addiction story with you guys and kind of telling you guys what it was like when I was in active addiction and what my life is like now. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, if you're struggling, if you have any struggle, if it's not drug addiction, it could be anything. It could be abuse. You could be struggling with mental, physical, emotional abuse, right? These are all things that, like, I have been through. I have went through it too. And like I was saying earlier in my story about the guys I dated, my picker is broken, you guys. And I would pick these men that would just hurt me so bad. They would beat me. They would downgrade me. They would talk to me like I was dirt. And I would run back for more every single time. And I'm telling you guys, like, that was because I thought I had this mindset that this is what I deserve. I don't know why I was like that, but I had just gotten so down on myself that I thought that, you know, this is what I deserve, and it is what it is. And now I look back on that, and I realize, you know, that I was really struggling back then. But today I'm not struggling, and so I do have struggles. I have the days where I'm depressed. Like, I was crying the other day. I was so upset. I was on YouTube crying, and I was just struggling. But I'm going to tell y'all what. Oh, hey, first and last, thank you so much. You did not have to do that, but I really, really do appreciate it. It means so freaking much to me. Thank you. I have struggles, you guys, like everyday struggles, right? I have struggles sometimes where, like, I just don't feel like I'm good enough. Do y'all know what I'm saying? Do y'all ever feel like that? Where I second guess myself. I really appreciate that first and last. Like, you have no idea. Hey, Cindy, thank you so much, girl. I see you. Thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate that. Just like struggles where, like, my mind sometimes gets the best of me. My mind will tell me, nobody cares about what you're saying. Why are you even wasting the time? And as a YouTube person, a person who does YouTube videos, that's one of the things that I've been struggling with a lot lately is like, are they here? Do they really want to hear what I have to say? And then I'm like, Nicole, of course they do. Why else would they be here? You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm fighting against this inner demon inside of me that it's like always trying to tell me that I'm not good enough. Always trying to tell me that no one likes me. Always trying to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why. I've always struggled with second guessing myself, low self-esteem. I guess you could call it low self-worth. And I'm working on getting better, y'all. I really am. I'm working on being better about it. But it's just like a natural thing for me to kind of like, I don't know, kind of be hard on myself, you know? But I know in my heart of hearts, like I'm telling you guys, like help being on my channel and sharing my experience with you guys and helping other people find recovery. That has helped my self-confidence and my self-esteem and my self-love so much. Whenever you can give back to someone else, you guys, and you could help somebody else, right? I'm telling you, you should try it. If you're ever struggling and you're having like a really bad day, okay? Like a bad day. Like you're crying, you're feeling worthless, you don't want to get out of bed. If you can do something for someone else, okay? Your husband, your kids, your best friend, your sister, take them out to eat or go to a movie and spend some extra, like, quality time with your children. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't just have to be about helping somebody in recovery from addiction. Just go be of service to somebody else. Help a little old man across the street. Donate $1 to somebody in need. I'm telling y'all. Go wash your dad's car because he just loves to have a shine-in car. Anything that you can do and that for someone else, watch how it will turn around your whole perspective on life. And so that's what's happened for me through getting sober, is I've turned into this like addiction to a passion/addiction to giving back to other people, because it's almost like a high I can't even explain. But it's the best thing to be able to be of service to someone else that's struggling and see their life change right in front of your eyes. Today, I was driving and I got to the place I was going and I was looking at my phone because I had a text message. And I got a text message from Ian. And if you guys aren't familiar, about 3 months ago, I met a guy that was homeless here where I live. And he was struggling, and I found him on the side of the road. And I stopped. Me and my little boy stopped to talk to him. And he ended up being a guy that I actually went to grade school with 20-something years ago. And so when I saw him, I thought, oh, wow, or 15, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I've been out of school. Yeah, 20. Yeah, 2000. We're almost in 2020. I graduated in 2000. So 17 years ago, I was in kindergarten through whatever grade with this guy. And so when he saw that it was me, he said, Nicole, it's me, Ian. And he said, Ian, and he said his last name. And I was like, oh, what's up? Why are you upset? He was sitting on this bus bench, sobbing. And so I was like, what's up, man? And he said, I'm homeless, right? I'm homeless, and I'm a drug addict, and I'm actually, and he was going to the methadone clinic. So he wasn't actively getting high. He was in a medically assisted treatment program. But he had called his family because he was homeless and he needed help. and his family was just done with him, you guys. Oh, hold on. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I am so sorry, y'all. So he was there. Okay, yeah. He said, "Oh, I'm homeless. My parents are done with me." Like, he just looked pathetic. He was sobbing, you guys. And so I was like, "It's okay. It's okay. Here's my phone number. Let me get your phone number, and I'm going to help you." And I've never done this in my life, you guys, with anybody in real life. And I came home to my house, and I called all over Little Rock looking for halfway houses. And I found one. But I knew I couldn't do the job for him. Like, he had to call the place, right? So I called him back, and I said, "Hey, listen, man, I got this phone number for you. Call this guy. I think he's got a bed open." So Ian called the man, and the man wanted him for an interview, right? So he met the guy, and he ended up getting into the halfway house. And I was so excited. I was like, all right? And so then about 20 minutes later, he called me, and he's like, "Hey, Nicole, I got in, but it's $300 to get in." And he said, "I have $150. And so that's when I knew right then that he had cash. Like, he's not actively using drugs if he has $150 saved. I have $150, but that's all the money I have to my name. And he was so upset because he was like, "I'm not going to be able to get in." And this dude was living in the street, y'all. I mean, dirty, everything. But he had this little bit of money he was holding on to, And I was like, shit. So I came home, and I turned on my YouTube, and I said, "Listen, we need help. We need help, guys. We got to raise this money for this guy. $150 is all we need." So we raised the money. People sent it to my PayPal, and I got the money. I went and got it right away, and I drove down to the halfway house and paid the money for him, right? And it was so amazing, you guys, because we called him on my channel. We called him on the phone on a live stream, and I told him, "Hey, Ian, we raised the money for you." And if you guys, the video is back somewhere on my channel. I'll have to share it on my community tab so y'all, the new people, can hear it. I was crying. He was crying. You guys were crying. We were all crying, right? But it was everybody here in the chat came together, and we raised the money for him, the other half of his rent. And I'm telling you guys, like, after that happened, I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. We can do this for so many different people.
Mom,
Yeah, baby.
Can you give me a green shirt plain
Yes, I will.
right now?
Hold on just a second. I'm fixing to hang up right now.
Please, Mom, please.
Yes, it was so amazing, Liz.
Please,
So
Mom, please.
amazing. So we did that, and he got into the halfway house. Now, let me finish this up, baby. I'm telling the story. So that was all great. Well, then he was starting to look for a job, and so I was like, "Oh, I'll help you." So I called him up one day, and I sent him, a couple places to go, and he ended up getting a little job, and that was great too, right? Amazing, wonderful. So I've always kept in contact with him for the last 3 months, right? So I contacted him last month, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just checking on you. How are you doing?" Guess what? Somebody gave him a car. He went shopping with his friend to look for cars, and his friend was like, "Listen, I've got this 1998 Nissan Maxima. Why don't you take it?" I'm telling you guys, if you get sober and you do the right thing, things will happen for you, right? And so that was that. Well, then yesterday...
Is there a green plain shirt down here?
I'm not sure, baby. Hold on. Then I got a text message, me and my little boy were driving. I know. So now he's got a house, a car, and he's got a job, y'all. And so this is such an amazing, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when people are struggling in active addiction, sometimes all they need is just somebody to believe in them and help them a little bit, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't going to go give the kid $150. I took it down and paid the rent to the guy. I wasn't born yesterday, y'all. I'm in recovery, right? A green plain shirt. Yes, he's got it right there. It was on the counter. And that's my little boy. He's 5. His name is Nate. Y'all see, he's in all my videos. But so that happened. Well, then me and Nate called him 2 days ago, me and my son, and we were like, hey, we left him a voicemail, and we were like, hey, Ian, it's Nicole. I was just calling to check on you and see how you're doing in your recovery. And then Nate, at the very end, he was like, I'm so proud of you. Stay sober, right? Then, so that finished, and then today I got a text message, and he's like, I just heard you and Nate's voicemail. Thank you so much. You don't understand how much, like, how good that made me feel. And anyways, helping other people, you guys, it's the most amazing blessing that it will help you in the long run. So I'm telling you guys, try it. But anyway, I love y'all. I'm going live in 2.5 hours at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are going to have a 4-year sobriety birthday party. So if y'all want to come hang out with us at 8 o'clock tonight, you better be here, because it's going to be fun. We're going to tell stories. We're going to laugh. We're going to kiki with the girls, and it's going to be amazing. So welcome to all my new subscribers from Robbie's channel. Thank you guys for coming over. Like, absolutely appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who sent me super chats. We raised $36 in the super chats, and like, thank you. You know, don't ever feel obligated to send me money, you guys, just so you know. Like, I just want to make that clear. Like, I come on here, I go live all the time. If you want to send me something, that's amazing. I appreciate it, but don't feel like you ever have to be doing it, okay? Thank you, Angel. I love you. Have fun at your concert. And it's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So it is 5:27 right now where I'm at. So 2.5 hours. I'll see y'all back here, okay? 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to go ahead and make a reminder, so I'll see y'all then. Thank you guys for coming over, and I can't wait to see you guys later on. Okay, buddy. I'm going to wait.